आनंद, ऋषभ यादव, आरिष्या,
ये तो इसी के
इनके नाम थोड़ी ना मिले।
हाँ हाँ नाम बोलोगे तो। अरे ये अलग है यार। अभी कहाँ हुआ किसी का?
शुभम, शुभम प्रताप सिंह, खुशबू यादव, शेख, नीलेश,
इसमें भी गलती हो रखी है। नाम नहीं हुआ है। बाद में जाएंगे क्या कर सकते हैं।
ऋषिका, ऋषिका, मोती देवी, संदीप कुमार राणा, हर्षिता कपूर, आदित्य, प्रियंका कुमारी,
बोल दिया ना।
प्रियंका कुमारी आ गई। समीत, समीत, येरम शेट्टी, दुआ कर लेना आप ये वाला। इसे मैंने स्प्लिटिंग हो रखी है।
अरे यहाँ पे स्प्लिटिंग कोई नहीं।
हाँ नहीं आप कर लेना ये वाला, इसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं। आशुतोष, आशुतोष, अर्पित, अर्पित मिश्रा, श्रेया, राहुल कुमार, हरे कृष्णा, जरा देख के फिर अनुज मौर्य, आयुष्मान भट्ट, प्रिया, प्रिया, प्रियंका पटेल, यशी रोज, पवन त्रिपाठी, शिवांगी, पूरा नाम क्या आपका? प्रिया, अंकित, अंकित दो कैमरा हो रहे हैं, वो वाला आफ्टरनून इवनिंग की बैच करिए। आ रहा है इसमें भी दिक्कत है। सूर्य प्रताप सिंह, राज पी गुप्ता, वंशिका, संजय मौर्य, संजय, और सबका बाद में मिलेंगे कल। Hello. Hi, friends. Apologies for the delay. Please shut your eyes for a bit. So, beginning with a quick recap. What did we study in the last lecture, brother? Did we start the last lecture with that? The nature of the discipline of sociology? Or did we start with something else? Sorry? Okay, social groups can be of various types such as? Primary and secondary, who gave that classification? Let him. Please revise. Huh? Beta, who gave that classification? Cooley. Good. They can also be classified into? Yes? Okay, in groups and out groups, and who gave that classification? Sorry? MN? Okay, William Graham Sumner, W.G. Sumner, but Sumner. All right. And what do we mean by in groups? Strong attachment. And what do you mean by out group, brother? Some sort of a hostility, absolutely. ठीक है. Then we discussed what? Membership and non-membership, which is very self-explanatory. Then social relationships. What kind of social relationships do we engage in? Mother and child, not like mother and father, husband and wife, or or name 5 social relationships other than what she's mentioned. Yes. Yes. Let's keep it human. Company is slightly a abstract entity. ठीक है, great. Then, are these relationships arbitrary, or are they, how are they? What is the nature of these relationships? My brother in white t-shirt. They are recurrent and patterned. And these recurrent and patterned social relationships give rise to what, brother? Yes, brother? They give rise to social institutions. Yes. What are some of the... many of you are cleverly avoiding eye contact. Beti, what do you... name some of the major social institutions? Yes? Yes? At the back, name some major social institutions. Yes? Education system, family, religion, economy, polity, these are the major social institutions or the major parts of the society, simply. Okay? Then we had discussed about, we also study various social processes like, brother, modernization, globalization, urbanization, etc. Who said, brother, who said sociology is the study of social statics? Who said that? Auguste Comte. And complete that sentence for me. Beti, yes? Study of social statics and social dynamics. Great. And then we discussed the nature of the discipline of sociology. So tell me about the nature of this discipline of sociology. Yes, brother. Yes. Focus is more on aggregates, collectivities, and larger entities than on the individual. And did this change sometime during the evolution of the discipline? Was there a when? What? Very good. With the writings of Max Weber and onwards, there was also an increased focus on micro-level analysis in sociology. Great. Then, tell me another aspect of the nature of this discipline of sociology. Brother in pink. Tell me about the nature of the discipline of sociology. So, no, I'm not asking you. Yes, brother. Sorry? Okay. वैसे I was not asking you. ठीक है. Yes. It is more prescriptive or descriptive. It is more descriptive than prescriptive. Can you explain what do you mean by that? Sorry? It is not what society ought to be. It's not so much about that. Then what is it about? The society which already exists. That is what we analyze. Very good. So, and did that kind of change, Beti? Yes? Great. So critical researchers, and this strand was there since the beginning. Even in the writings of Comte, just to this thing, or Durkheim, these are amongst the founding fathers, there was a very strong propensity to, should I say, intervene or, kind of, they were writing in the context of the turmoil of the French Revolution. So they were concerned about restoring order and stability in society. Okay? ठीक है. Then, tell me some other aspect, Beti. Yes. We've spoken about that already. Stay with the class. Scientific method. Wonderful. Okay. And what about today? Is it scientific, non-scientific? Where is it? What kind of methods do we use? Mix of both. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Okay, great. Then what did we discuss? Continuing with the nature of the discipline, I suppose. Beti, at the back, in blue. Yes. Tell me more about the nature of the discipline of sociology. Focusing more on identifying patterns and arriving at generalizations than on unique events. Great. And brother next to her, did that change? Okay, so beginning with Weber, we also started focusing on unique events. Yeah. And what else, Beti? Okay, we don't really call it the human kingdom, but we focus on human societies and human social institutions than those in the animal kingdom. So, brother, does that mean sociology completely ignores the animal world? The brother next to you. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Okay. And then what else, brother? Tell me. Tell me something about the nature of the discipline of sociology which has not been touched upon till now. Let him. Have we? No, we haven't. See. We don't study things in isolation, but rather, absolutely, study them as interconnected. Is that where we ended? Okay. Any doubts? Online or offline? Brother. Okay, how does Ginsburg define social institutions? I'll help you with, your classmates will do that for me. How does Ginsburg define social institution? Beti? Recognized and established usages governing relations between individuals and between groups. And who will, brother, can you explain it to your friend here? This will be our doubt clearing mode also. Further question. Can you explain it to this statement, or what does he mean? Yes, I'm asking you. One in spectacles, yes, and moustache. Not to you, not to you. Yes, you. Yes, yes. See, good attempt. Simply, a social institution is what? Any social relationship is governed by certain societal do's and don'ts. So what we can call the rules laid down by the society. Yes, right? So, and they become a part of the collectively accepted social behavior in that context. For example, we have a relationship, a teacher-student relationship. In this relationship, whenever we interact, you behave in a particular manner, and I behave in a particular manner, right? As per the rules laid down by the society. So this is what usages means. Basically, it's Old English meaning customs and rules, etc., governing relations between individuals. So, say between teacher-student, there are certain rules governing that interaction. They are codified, okay, through societal approval, and that is what gives rise to social institutions. I hope that somewhat clears it. Any other doubts? Anything? Bhaiyo and Behno? So shall we proceed? Okay, a question has come up. Two questions have come up. Is caste a social institution? Is caste a social institution? The answer is yes, it is in the Indian society. Okay? It is a very prominent social institution. In fact, when we reach paper 2, you will realize Indian sociologists have been so obsessed with the study of caste. For them, the study of Indian society means the study of caste only. As if Indian society is nothing more than or out of caste. Okay? So, of course, caste is a social institution. The second question, more practical, is how to use essential sociology with the classes. So, whatever topics are taught in the class, you go back home, revise from your class notes, and then you pick up essential sociology, glance through that same topic from that book, preferably, highly preferably the same day and before the next class. Anything new you find, you jot it down in your class notes, add it to your class notes, anything, and that which you understand and is new, and anything which you are unable to connect with, you simply discard it. Okay? Don't expend too much energies or too much of your buddhi on that. That is how you use Sangwan as a supplement to your class notes, which it will be my earnest attempt are as comprehensive as possible. Theek? Which PYQs are good, solved or unsolved? For the solved PYQs, there is only one book available, which is not of good quality, so I won't recommend them. Unsolved PYQs should be referred to during preparation, and they will also be fairly incorporated in your weekly assignments. Okay? Chaliye, moving on. So we discussed what is sociology. We also discussed what is the nature of the discipline of sociology. Is that where we ended? That's the last thing. Now, if you have to explain to somebody what is sociology in no more than 5 words, how will you do it, Beti? Yes? Sociology is the study of society. Simple. And what is society? That is the logical question which follows. Now that we are going to study society, what is really society? समाज क्या है? बताइए. People who surround us where we are living. Huh? A very intuitive definition, है ना, brother? Where a group of people live together. You are saying in the sense of, Gulmohar society, that kind of usage in the nomenclature. Beti? No crosstalk, please, because that we are unable to then hear her. है ना? Yeah. Okay, where people's perception affects us. Brother? Group of people, very specific group of people living in a fixed territory. Wonderful. Having some sort of a psychic unity and a definitive culture. Okay, a lot of terms or phrases have been used here which we'll need to understand. Yes, you had something to add, brother? ठीक है. So all the terms that we had come across till now, you've bundled them together to come up with a very handy definition. Brother? A group of people with some sort of an interdependency between them. Okay, let me just... that raises this question in my mind. Can one person constitute a society? Can I say मेरे समाज में मैं ही हूं? Or not? Why not? Why can't I be my society? Apart from the fact that it sounds bizarre. Yes, Beti? So you're getting technical there that, definitionally, you're violating this thing. But my question is more fundamental. Why can't I, an individual, exist all by myself? That is my question. Beti? We cannot exist in a vacuum. We always grow up surrounded by people. But say once I've attained adulthood, I've become adult, then I can say to hell with society. If I have a very, anti-social kind of a disposition, I don't like to be around people. I'm quite a recluse and I'd rather, keep to myself. Yeah, not. Maybe ensconced in reading books or take sannyas or something, a hermit. जंगल में चले जाए सब छोड़ छाड़ के. Or if I'm a sociopath, I really hate people or whatever. I'm just giving you very extreme examples, but examples nonetheless. Why do I need society? Yeah? Really, Beti? If I am a fairly independent kind of a guy, I'd say to hell with you. Still, as in for what? For what? Very good. So you need to buy things from the market. You need emotional support which other members of the society provide you, brother. ठीक है, so Aristotle is no word of God now. We can disagree with him, or we can. Why does he say man is a social animal? That's the more fundamental question. Or why do you agree with him when he says that? You're absolutely right. Aristotle does say that. But why should we be in agreement with him? Betty? Absolutely. Wonderful. ठीक है, so countries are independent and at a smaller scale, people are interdependent on each other within a society. Why should I need it? Why is it so necessary? Why can't I have a certain culture? Okay, brother? Division of labor is needed. ठीक है, brother? Sorry? Why do we need interaction? That's the question, no? Why do we need interaction? मुझे नहीं अच्छा लगता लोगों से बात करना मिलना. मैं पड़े रहूंगा अपने कमरे में कंबल ओढ़ के. What's the big deal? Huh? In order to fulfill our needs. Huh? Brother? Reproduction, absolutely. Huh? कर लो अकेले. ठीक है, absolutely. So friends, as was pointed out, Aristotle very aptly remarked that man is a social animal. अर्थात no man, no matter how recluse, how independent, how antisocial in orientation, whether a hermit, a saint or a sinner, no man is an island unto himself. Man is highly dependent on the society for the fulfillment of his various needs. From the most basic of human needs, such as the need for food. I need somebody to grow things for me which then I can consume and sustain. Yes or no? The biological need for sex. The propensity to reproduce, as was rightly pointed out. For a sense of, to relatively somewhat higher level needs, a sense of security, for emotional well-being. Very importantly, for companionship. The need to be loved. To have a sense of belongingness. Yes or no? We have a need for validation. We need to be all constantly told that, you are good. You're doing well. You're doing the right thing. Who will give us? We can't keep on patting ourselves on the back. We need others to pat us on the back. Good student. And likewise, good teacher. Yes or no? And it's not just about the fulfillment of our needs. It is the society, friends, which determines various aspects of our lives. Profoundly impacts each and every aspect of one's life. One's matlab, the individual's life. For instance, the kind of food we eat. Yes or no? Is affected by the society, or is conditioned or greatly set by the society. I eat dal bhat or roti sabzi. I don't eat enchiladas or whatever. Are you with me? Caviar. वो भी खाते हैं लोग दुनिया में कहीं ना कहीं, बट मैं नहीं खाता. क्यों नहीं खाता? क्योंकि मेरे समाज में ये नहीं खाते. सिंपली. तो क्या खाना है क्या नहीं खाना है मुझे मेरे समाज ने सिखाया है, बताया है, और मैं वही खाता हूं जो मेरे समाज ने बताया है. So what we consume as food is taught to us by the society. The kind of clothes we wear. Yes or no? One's mode of worship or one's thoughts say about divinity. Everything. Yes or no? Had I been born in another society, my mode of worship would have been different. One's whole personality, one's self-perception, how I see myself. And when I say I am talking about each and every one of us. Yes or no? Is greatly shaped by the society. So society plays a very significant role in shaping individuals. ठीक है? Now, we have established no man is an island unto himself. One person simply cannot constitute a society. So, necessarily, a society is comprised of a number of people or a group of people. Who are these other people who are a part of your society? Tell me, who is this? That's your dad. Friends, yeah, friends, absolutely. Who else? Neighbors. Colleagues, okay. Parents. Siblings, parents में ही आ गए, मतलब. हाँ? हाँ, romantic and sexual relationships. और हाँ? Relatives, बहुत हो गए relatives. We have enough of them here. Sorry? Absolutely. Your dharma guru. Your political leaders. Thank you. Teachers. We are such an invisible kind of a category. Huh? Right? And you have a certain connection or relationship with all of them. With the shopkeeper, with the doctor. Yes or no? And so on and so forth. And when we talk about society, what is more, should I say, important? In the sense, is it these individuals or is it their relationships? That is our focus. It is the relationships, not the individuals per se. Yes or no? It is the social relationships. These social relationships that exist. So say your parents, okay, your father, Is this the only relationship he has in his life? Clearly not. Does he have a relationship with your siblings? With your mother? With the doctor and the shopkeeper and the dharma guru and the political leaders? The answer is yes. So he would have these various relationships. Yes or no? Do your teachers, is this the only relationship they have? Clearly not. They would also have 100 other relationships and so on. Yes or no? It is this web of interpersonal relationships which makes society. So likh lo, according to MacIver, society is a web. Society is a web. Web as in makdi ka jala, jo ye dikh raha hai, of interpersonal relationships. Web, using this terminology to indicate how cross-cutting social relationships are. ठीक? Now tell me, friends, in any given society, do the members have a lot of things in common? Or are there any similarities amongst the members of a society? Like what? What is common amongst the members of society? Say our society. Okay? We all belong to the Indian society. What is it that is common amongst us? Sorry? Caste same hai hum sabki. Almost same hai. Religion, so most of us would belong to the majority religion in India, which is Hinduism. And then you would have some Muslims and Christians and Buddhists, etc. But yeah, what else is common? Okay, so our citizenship is the same. Yeah, we are governed by the same set of laws. The same political leadership is framing or guiding all of us. Okay, so our food habits may be somewhat similar. We may celebrate similar festivals. Sorry? Clothing. One's clothing, yes, all of you are wearing similar kinds of clothes. Or something very fundamental to the very language. Absolutely. Without a shared language, society will simply cease to exist. Yes or no? If I can't talk to you, kहाँ हमारी कोई society बनेगी? Yes or no? Yes, बेटी. Okay, we have similar needs, she's saying. Sorry? Similar or same values? Absolutely. So point is, friends, a society is characterized by several similarities amongst its members. So they may share a common language, worship, have a common mode of worship. Maybe governed by the same set of laws. Chugging ahead, directed by a common leadership. And so on and so forth. And these similarities that people share are essential for social life. It is based upon these similarities that people are able to live together, develop a consensus. there can be cooperation amongst the members of the society. ठीक? Are there also... Okay, tell me, now given that we have a lot of similarities, are we the same? Or are there also important differences amongst the members of a given society? बताइए, क्या समाज में भिन्नता भी है? Yes, बेटी? Yes, you had raised your hand, yeah. Possibly common ancestors, that's fine, yes. But are we also different in some very important ways? Like what? So you're saying there are differences in people's food habits? Yeah? Yes. Okay. And what other differences are there? So one wonders when he puts it like that, he takes out a litany of things which set us apart. One wonders if we even have anything in common. He's saying language hai, food habits hai, festivals hai, sab kuch to bhin hai. Religious beliefs hai. So, okay, given that there are many differences in, amongst the members of a given society, an important question is, are these differences healthy or are they unhealthy for the society? Healthy in the sense, are they beneficial in any way for the society or are they detrimental to the society? Beti? And the class system? Class. You're saying the caste system is detrimental. I'm asking you, what about the class system? Inequality is based on wealth. Caste system is inequality is based on your, perceived position in the hierarchy. That is also detrimental. Yeah. So we need some kind of a, tolerant mindset to literally tolerate differences. Would the society be better off if it were completely homogeneous? Let's put it this way. Why so much siyapa ki ek to pehle differences ho, then you accommodate the other guy and adjust to his way of life and have that liberal mindset. Too much of hassle, nahi? Wouldn't it be better if we were all of one kind? No? Why not? Beti? Give me an example. Good. Yeah. Absolutely. Wonderful. So we have different capabilities and skill sets. Absolutely. There are important differences amongst the members of a society in terms of their knowledge, expertise. So I know sociology. He knows accounts. He is an army officer. She's a doctor. Right? That is why we can be of any utility to each other, na? If all were sociologists, मैं क्या करता? Yes or no? And खाना कौन उगाता? खाना भी तो खाना है हमें. Sociology से थोड़ी ना वो खा सकते हैं हम. So, people's varied skill sets enable them to fulfill each other's needs. I need accounting expertise for which I'll go to the accountant. I need medical expertise for which I'll go to the doctor. You guys need sociology expertise for which you'll come to me. Yes or no? And so on and so forth. So, differences are very important. And they are also, necessary for a society to exist. Everything cannot be a photocopy of the other. Everyone in a society. You need people to be different. Because those differences enable division of labor or skill specialization. So people can fulfill each other's requirements. Some very basic difference, fundamental difference, none of us have touched upon. Sorry? Appearance, okay, but in values nahi. The difference between the sexes. Yes or no? Between men and women. So it is because of the differences that people complement each other. Complement not as in sundar dikh rahe ho, complement as in make whole, when you come together. So only because of the differences between men and women, the sexual needs can be satisfied, reproduction can take place, which is so necessary for the continued existence of the society. Yes or no? So differences, friends, facilitate complementarity. Differences facilitate coordination and cooperation. Differences facilitate division of labor. So any society is based upon both or characterized by both similarities as well as differences. Yes? I just said something that social life is characterized by, or differences enable complementarity. Complementarity means I have something, you have something else. So we can complement each other. Cooperation, coordination, division of labor. Social life or society is based upon or characterized by cooperation. Yes or no? Based on our similarities and our differences, we cooperate with each other. Society is characterized by cooperation, but is it characterized only by cooperation? Or is there also conflict prevalent in society? Bataiye. There is. What kind of conflicts do we have? Sorry? Ethnic conflicts, class conflicts, communal conflicts, ideological conflicts, conflicts of all kinds. The battle between the sexes for that matter. All kinds of conflicts. So society is both conflict-ridden and also characterized by cooperation and harmony at the same time in every ongoing society or in any society. Yes or no? These seemingly contradictory trends both are present in a society. ये नहीं है कि एक सोसाइटी में सिर्फ कोऑपरेशन है, ओनली कोऑपरेशन है और दूसरी में केवल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है. ठीक? Every society, friends, has its own culture. Every society has its own culture. Now, I want to introduce you to this concept of culture, which is very intimately connected to our understanding of society. What is culture? Normal English word. What do you understand by culture, Beti? Way of life. Culture is, she's saying very elegantly, she's put it, it's a way of life. Yes. Sorry? Okay, though in that case you can elaborate on it. What do you mean when you say it's a way of life? What is it really? The way you think, your daily routine, that's a part of culture, she's saying. The way you interact with each other. Brother? Food habits, values, what else? Principles, moral principles. Brother? Art, architecture, that's a part of culture. Brother? That is fine. That's another aspect of it. Whether it's changing or not changing. What is it really in the first place? Betty? So culture is influenced by the geography and the local topography. That's fine. Yes, agreed. Okay, so culture includes, she's saying, the clothes that we wear, the food that we eat, how people are connected, or the kind of kinship patterns, relationships, relative, this thing, the way of worshipping, the festivals. Brother? Sorry? How do we do things? What things? Specific. What things? Sorry? Traditions. Okay, brother? Norms, traditions. Celebrating and mourning. The present lifestyle of a society. Language is a part of culture. Every aspect of life that we've got or inherited from the previous generation is part of culture. Great. Yes. The norms, it's not, norms would be a part of it, but not the whole of it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Shared beliefs are a part of culture. Absolutely. Culture is all of this, friends. You know, and when you understand it this way, it seems like a very all-encompassing kind of a concept or term. So when we say every society has its own culture, we literally mean, as many of you rightly pointed out, every society has its own way of life. Right? According to E.B. Tyler, write down. Culture is that complex whole with a W, not without. Culture is that complex whole which includes knowledge, beliefs, art, morals, customs, and any other capabilities acquired by man as a part of society. I repeat, culture is that complex whole which includes knowledge, beliefs, arts, customs, morals, and any other capabilities acquired by man as a part of the society. ठीक? Simply, friends, what is culture? It is anything that we have got from the society. And it does include all of these things that you mentioned. Language, rituals, food habits, sense of dressing, yes or no? Architecture, customs, beliefs, dance forms, music. All of it is a part of culture. जो भी मैंने समाज से सीखा है, जो भी मैंने समाज से पाया है, that is a part of culture. Okay? Now, a couple of things I want to bring to your attention on this issue of culture. You know, culture seems too all-encompassing. So a logical question which arises is, what is not culture? अब सब कुछ ही कल्चर है, तो कल्चर के दायरों से बाहर क्या है? And the answer to that, friends, what is not culture? The term culture can be contrasted with the term nature. With the term nature. So what is nature? That which is part of nature, okay, or endowed by nature, is not culture. So thus understood, culture is, when we say it's in contrast to nature, it means culture is man-made. It is man-made. It is a human invention. So language is a product of nature or a product of culture? Culture. Clothing, nature or culture? Culture. Tree, nature or culture? Nature. Tree worship, nature or culture? Culture. Are we clear on this? Because worshipping of trees or associating a certain sacredness with trees, which is prevalent in many cultures, including Hindu culture, is a human thing. No? It's a human affair. It's something that man does. Are you with me? So culture is man-made. Culture is shared amongst the members of a society. एक इकलौते इंसान का कल्चर नहीं होता है, सोसाइटी का कल्चर होता है. Culture is shared amongst the members of a society. And culture is transmitted from one generation to the next. ठीक है? That is what is culture. Now you tell me, friends, is Valentine's Day a part of Indian culture? Huh? Is Valentine's Day a part of Indian culture? Yes? So, where do you stand on this thing? Is Valentine's Day a part of Indian culture? And now? Yes, Betty? we've adopted it. What about WhatsApp? Is WhatsApp a part of Indian culture? We are always qualifying our remarks with this, it was not. Why? And I understand why, because intuitively, we are conditioned to think that culture is something, which is somewhat ancient. Yeah, जो 1000 साल पहले होता था और अभी भी चला रहा है, वो culture है. Not necessarily. Please appreciate, culture is a living entity. Culture is organic. Culture is dynamic. It's not set in stone 1000 years back. कि जो हमारे परदादा करते थे वही culture है. और जो हम करते हैं वो गोबर है. It's not like that. ठीक है? Culture is simply the way of life of a people. So is WhatsApp an integral part of our lives today? Yes, it is. So it is now a part of our culture. The technologies that we use, they are part of culture. The mobile phone is a part of culture. Please appreciate. So what if it did not exist 2 or 3 or 10 generations back? Okay? So there can be transmission of cultural elements from one society to another. WhatsApp was not, as many of you rightly pointed out, Indian. Okay, or not there some time back. It was invented somewhere and then we have very widely adopted it. So now it is a part of our lives. Valentine's Day, again, was not a part of Indian culture. But today, for a segment of Indian society, say amongst the youth, belonging to the middle class and the upper middle class residing in the cities. It is a part of their culture. Are you with me? Point is, friends, culture is not set in stone. Culture is living. It's not necessarily Puratan or ancient. Okay? According to Ralph Linton, culture of a society is the way of life of its members. According to Ralph Linton, culture of a society is the way of life of its members. समाज में लोगों के जीने के जो तौर तरीके हैं वो उनका कल्चर है. As simple as that. Yeah? Or as Clyde Cluckhorn would put it, for Clyde Cluckhorn, culture is a design for living. Is a design for living. ठीक है? So culture is all of these things that we've learned from the society or picked up from the society, whether it is how we eat and how we dress, the language that we speak, the gods that we worship, the kinship or the relationships that we form, the ideologies that we accept. Are you with me? It's all a part of culture. Architecture, it can be material culture, phone, WhatsApp, technology, tools are a part of culture. Dance, drama, music, all of it is a part of culture. And it need not be ancient. It is dynamic. So every society has its own culture. Please write down. Society is a group of people in interaction with each other. Society is a group of people in interaction with each other, comma, who typically live in a common territory, and share a common culture. ठीक है? Now friends, also please appreciate, not only is culture dynamic and evolving and changing, within a society, we say members of a society share a common culture. But within a society, can there be, or is there room for cultural differences? Or not? Or is that very counter to the whole notion of culture as we've understood it? One second. I'll come to your doubts. So for example, within a society, different subgroups may have a distinct subculture. Please appreciate. For example, we are all a part of the Indian society, right? And live by or as per the what we call the Indian culture. But then within Indian society there are numerous religious communities. So Hindu culture in several important ways will be very different from Muslim culture or the Christian culture or the Jain culture. Yes or no? Amongst the Hindus, there are numerous castes. Different castes may have their own distinctive subcultures. So Baniya subculture may be very different from Khatri subculture, from Brahmin subculture or Jat subculture. Yes or no? So the notion of culture doesn't presuppose a complete homogeneity, is what I am suggesting. ठीक है? So that is that. Yes, now for the doubts, you had a doubt. Sorry? Nature. Yes, people may share the natural environment. Huh? Yes? That is like one of the, should I say, conventional definitions of society. Okay? Now, as the digital world has expanded and become everywhere, right? So, you have these newer notions of society being deterritorialized, or not being any more confined to a given territory. Yes. ठीक है? So that is about society and culture. ठीक है? Yes. Yes, you're right. So thanks to migration, thanks to so many things, na? Migration is one of the important aspects of globalization. That element of territory is becoming less salient. Completely agreed. ठीक है? चलिए. So should we take a break now or later? Now, because there's a logical break here. Okay? So we take a break and then we recommence for the next portion. And after the break, we commence with the first main syllabus topic proper. Okay? Which is emergence of sociology. Hello. Yeah. Hi. ठीक है. So I think that is kind of a reasonably sufficient introduction to what is sociology really, what is the nature of this discipline, and a very kind of a brief and, should I say, easy kind of an understanding of what society really is. And having done that groundwork, we now proceed to the main portions of our syllabus, beginning with the first topic, which is the emergence of the discipline of sociology. So when did this discipline emerge, friends? You should know it. Wonderful. 1838. What happened then? What did he do? Yes. Comte coined the term sociology. So the beginning of the discipline of sociology was in the 19th century with the coinage of the term sociology in the year 1838 by Comte. It was in the year 1875 that the first course in sociology was introduced in USA by William Graham Sumner. All right? In 1892, the first department of sociology was established in USA by Albion Small. That's the name of the fellow. By Albion Small, or simply Small. ठीक है? I'm just giving you a brief timeline of the establishment of the academic discipline of sociology. And then it was in the year 1895 that the first department of sociology in Europe was established by Durkheim. All right? Do I need to get out of your way? All right? Any clarity you need there on this? The first academic department in any university was established in US in 1892 by Albion Small, and in 1895 in the University of Bordeaux in France by Emile Durkheim. Huh? Universities में departments होते हैं ना? That is what we are talking about. Course. Course लेते हो ना आप किसी, आप कोई मान लो, सॉरी, any university, when you say you're pursuing a degree in law, within your law degree, you will have several courses. Okay? So the first course titled sociology would have been started, or was started, by Sumner. The first department of sociology, so that's a further academic evolution, right? Greater salience in the university scheme of things, right? So every department would have some funds allocation, research being undertaken, so on and so forth. So what we are simply saying is this is about the academic, establishment of the discipline of sociology. And in brief, if you have to say when was sociology established? In the 19th century, right? This discipline of sociology was established in the 19th century. The more pertinent question from the exam point of view is why? Why in the 19th century? Why not in the 13th century? Or the 7th century? Or the 21st century? Or 3rd century BC? Why was the discipline, or what necessitated, what led to the establishment of the discipline of sociology? Brother. Hmm.
Whatever happens in France,
Hmm.
the whole Europe gets the effect of it.
Hmm.
So after the French Revolution,
Hmm.
ideas emerged, and new thinkers like Rousseau and Montesquieu, they propounded some theories, and due to those theories, those ideas spread across Europe, and for accommodating those ideas and changes in society, and the changes in society that were taking place due to French Revolution, this idea of studying the society.
Okay. So you're saying this whole notion of studying the society, that too in a scientific manner, emerged because of the tumult created by the French Revolution. Very good. The radical social changes brought about by the Industrial Revolution. Okay, tell me, wasn't society changing prior to the French and Industrial Revolution? Since we are attributing the emergence of the discipline of sociology to these revolutions, wasn't society changing prior to these revolutions? Was it completely static or something? It was changing earlier as well, and it was changing with the revolutions. So why would this sudden need be felt for a new discipline? Okay. Okay. Okay, so to basically understand the new social problems you're suggesting, which accompanied these revolutions, that is why the discipline emerged.
So with the formation of nation states in Europe, there was a need to know what the citizens of the nation would want, of the state. So in a way to form the policies of the nation, they needed data collected themselves. So that's why sociology also emerged, and it became an important field other than for food.
So you're suggesting sociology emerged as a tool for policy formulation in the nation states. It absolutely, it helped in that, but it not emerged. It did not emerge primarily or even in the in the main because of that. Okay. Yes, brother. कि चलो अब एक नई मेथडोलॉजी आई है तो लगा ही लेते हैं ठीक है. So he's saying with the scientific revolution, a new methodology, the scientific method became available as a tool of investigation, and it was applied to various other realms like physics and chemistry, etc. So there was this, he just put it as slightly, flippantly, Comte thought, chalo, we'll also apply it to the study of society. Very good.
So, sir, for there to be modernization, there needs to be specialization. For example, what the study of society was earlier was dealt in, for example, political science as well.
Yes.
But as the
Very good. Very good. Okay, so he's saying with modernization of Europe, the society underwent such drastic changes that the need for a specialized discipline to study these changes, the mechanisms, that was felt. Very good. Guys, did or was society being studied, analyzed, various social issues, social problems, various aspects of our social lives, say the man-woman relationship, say the, owners and of resources and those who are working on those resources, those what we today call employer-employee relations, etc. Were these also being studied and analyzed prior to the establishment of the discipline of sociology? Was it being studied? Were these changes or were these aspects of our social lives being studied before the establishment of sociology? Yes or no? Yes. Clearly yes. And who studied them? Who wrote about them? Who thought about them? Various aspects of our social life, our collective lives. Philosophers would do that, like Kautilya, Montesquieu, but he was around that time only, so let's go more far back in time. Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, they are like a trinity. They come together. They're a package. Rishis in India, Buddha, Manu, Confucius in China, various philosophers, lawgivers, statesmen, rulers, men of religion. Yes or no? All of them were engaged in studying society even prior to the establishment of the discipline. Centuries and millennia before the establishment of the discipline of sociology. So man has always taken an interest in his social surroundings. There's nothing new in that. Are you with me? But now, with the revolutions in Europe, the French and industrial revolutions in Europe, the changes were so transformative. The society changed in such a fundamental manner that none of the existing branches of knowledge seemed equipped to make sense of these changes. Are you with me? They all seemed very compartmentalized, very narrow in their approach. So the economists were focused on studying the economy, the political scientists, the polity. Are you with me? Men of religion on religion, and so on and so forth. But now the new society which emerged after the process of modernization or in the aftermath of the French and industrial revolutions, that was so fundamentally different than the previous society, that a very pressing need was felt for a discipline dedicated to the scientific study of society. And hence, the discipline of sociology was established. To put you at ease, I'll be discussing and then I will also be dictating. Okay? So you can note down pointers if you will, but you don't have to race against time, noting down everything that is being said. Okay? So I'll be explaining the context and then later on, possibly in the next lecture, I'll be also dictating. Okay? So point is that philosophers and lawgivers, etc., have since times immemorial studied various aspects of our collective lives. But the scientific study of society is traced to the writings of Comte, or 19th century scholars and philosophers. Comte and his contemporaries. All right? Because of the tumult, the chaos unleashed by the world historic revolutions, the French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, none of the existing branches of knowledge, be it political science or ethics or law, religion or theology, None of them seemed adequate to understand these numerous, transformative societal changes. And hence the need was felt for a new dedicated discipline. Clear? Give a subheading. Modernization of Europe. And the emergence of sociology. Do you want me to pause for a bit if you are like paraphrasing and writing whatever has been earlier discussed till now? Okay. Let me know when you are done. Huh? Just say done, then I'll proceed. Can you please call somebody from the outside for once, please? Shall we proceed? ठीक है. So we've given this subheading now, modernization of Europe and the emergence of sociology. So friends, with the French and the industrial revolutions, the old European society crumbled as it were and was replaced by a new society, what we today term as the modern society. And it was to make sense of this process of modernization. It was to also find solutions, as one of you rightly pointed out, to the problems associated with the process of modernization, that the discipline of sociology emerged. Theek? So let us try to appreciate what was this process of modernization, or how European society, or how in Europe the old gave way to the new with the French and industrial revolutions. Beginning with the French Revolution. Are we aware of the French Revolution? Maybe our reading of world history or whatever. Please raise your hands if you know about the French Revolution, then I can skip that part, otherwise I won't. The historical aspects. So very few amongst us. So let me just give you a brief overview of what the French Revolution was, and then how it led to the emergence of sociology. French Revolution took place in where? France. Very good. During this time period. Theek? In the second half of the 18th century. To understand what the French Revolution was, or what was more importantly for us, what was its impact on the French society, we should first be able to appreciate what was the nature of French society before the revolution. All right? So, before the revolution, French society was divided into 3 estates. There were 3 strata. It was known as the estates system. 3 estates or 3 strata, which were very unimaginatively called the first estate, the second estate, and the third estate. ठीक? The first estate comprised of the clergy. Clergy was the priestly class, church officials. ठीक? The second estate comprised of the nobility. These were people who inherited a lot of wealth in the form of land, primarily. They would also hold titles and stuff. ठीक? And the third estate was the commoners, the Aam Aadmi. In case I'm ever blocking your view, feel free to ask me to shift and I will. ठीक? And over and above these 3 estates was the monarch or the king. ठीक? The reigning monarch at the time of the French Revolution was Louis the 16th. Who belonged to the Bourbon dynasty. बिस्किट वाली. ठीक है? धन्यवाद भैया. And what were these social conditions of the time? Please appreciate. Demographically or in numerical terms, the first and the second estate together comprise less than 3% of France's then population. And bulk of the population, overwhelming majority, were members of the third estate or were commoners. ठीक? All power and privilege was concentrated in the first 2 estates. While the life of the commoners was characterized by increasing hardships. The plight of the commoners was also accentuated by the decision of the French state or the French monarch to support the American revolutionaries in their war of independence against the English. I'll just give you the context. America, what we today call United States of America, was then ruled by, or was a colony of the British. There were many colonies of the British. Okay, like we were a British colony, so was what we today call United States of America. And in United States of America, there was an armed uprising against British rule. All right? And those American revolutionaries who were trying to throw or drive out the British from America, they received ideological and material support from France. Why would France support American revolutionaries in a distant land? Because of the international rivalry between France and England. So both were, important global powers, and both wanted to increase their own influence, their own, there was this scramble for colonies. Are you with me? So both were trying to outdo each other. So to weaken England, France, or the French king was supporting the American revolutionaries. But to support the American revolutionaries, this thing, right? The cost or the burden of it came down heavily on the third estate in France. So they were subjected to heavier than usual taxation. Okay? Higher taxes were imposed on them. There was price rise. Very high levels of inflation. Basic essentials of life. Routine, otherwise, ordinary commodities became out of the reach of the common people. While the members of the first two estates, who comprised a minuscule fraction of the total French population, they enjoyed a lot of wealth and power. The monarchy was also seen as very distant, very disconnected from the problems and the sufferings of the masses. All right? There is what do you say? The then French queen, Marie Antoinette or whatever. Okay, she is notoriously, she had said that, yes, let them eat cake. Right? Like basically when commoners went to her that, my lady, we are unable to eat bread. So she said that let them eat cake. Meaning what? It's like the people going to Modi ji and saying कि हम रोटी प्याज भी नहीं खा पा रहे तो वो कहें तुम हलवा पूरी खा लो. Right? Basically they are so disconnected from the lives of the people that they are unable to appreciate their concerns. So the monarchy was very disconnected, living in its own ivory tower. So all of that led to a lot of build-up of resentment against the then prevailing socio-political order. Also, from amongst the ranks of commoners, a middle class had emerged in French society, who did not owe their, they had made some money, but they did not owe their wealth to inheritance. They had not inherited their wealth. They had been able to make wealth through enterprise, doing businesses and trade. Okay? And this middle class, they also felt that their interests were not being taken care of in the old feudal order, the then existing feudal order of France. So they also kind of joined hands with the commoners to discredit and dislodge the monarchical, feudal, socio-political order in France. ठीक? So this was the background in which the revolution took place. More importantly, for our purposes, what were the consequences of the French Revolution? How it transformed the French society? To study which, those changes, the discipline of sociology was established. Let's try to appreciate that. क्या बदलाव हुए revolution से? So सबसे पहले तो royal family को काट दिया. The king, his whole family, they were beheaded. ठीक है? And from monarchy, like monarchy was abolished and France was declared a republic. ठीक? So that was a bloody revolution with the physical decimation of the king and his parivar. And France was declared a republic. What's a republic? Head of the state is elected. Okay, and what is a democracy? Are the two the terms same? Are they same? Democracy and republic? People have right to vote. In a republic, you're saying the people are the supreme authority. Doesn't that sound very democracy-ish? It does. So what's the difference, brother? A republic is necessarily a democracy. Which is fine. But what's the difference in connotation when I say a country is a republic and when I say it's a democracy? In a democracy, the head of the government is elected by the people. And in a republic, the head of the state, absolutely correct, is elected for a finite period of time. Absolutely. So, republic is in contrast to, say, monarchical form of government. In a monarchy, the head of the state is a hereditary, occupant. Right? But in a republic, the head of the state is an elected person for a finite tenure. Right? India is a republic or a democracy? Both. Preamble में ही लिखा है ना? So when we say India is a republic, who represents a republic? The President of India. And who represents our democracy? The Prime Minister. Okay? Or the Parliament, and who elect then the Prime Minister. Are we clear on that? India is both a democracy and a republic. What about England? Is it a republic? Is it a republic? No. Who is the head of the state? The monarch. Right? And is it a democracy? Yes. It is a democracy. And who represents British democracy? The British Prime Minister. What about America? Is it a republic? Who represents American Republic? The President of the US. And is it a democracy? Who represents American democracy? The American President again. Good. So in France, monarchy was abolished and it was declared a republic. The powers of the church were curtailed significantly. The church enjoyed massive powers back then. Okay? The church was literally, church authority was literally in bed with the political leadership. Right? Very enmeshed. There was a very deep nexus between church authority and state authority or political leadership. That nexus was broken, or there was a separation of church and state. And what do we call this separation of church and state? Secularism. Absolutely. Privileges of the feudal lords were taken away. Feudal lords also enjoyed a lot of privileges, such as maintaining private armies. Okay? And most importantly, it was a change in the realm of ideology. New ideals of क्या है फ्रेंच आइडियल्स? लिबर्टी, इक्वालिटी एंड फ्रेटर्निटी. were adopted, right? What's so should I say, what's so new, novel, or revolutionary about notions like liberty and equality? Aren't they like very ordinary and run on the mill? हर जगह ही होते हैं लिबर्टी इक्वालिटी वगैरह, तो बेसिक्स टाइप के नहीं है. क्यों? What's so revolutionary or radical about these ideas? Yeah, aren't they very intuitively like, aren't they very obvious? समाज में इक्वालिटी होनी चाहिए, ऑफ कोर्स. Absolutely correct. Now it is commonplace, and thanks to the French Revolution. But in those circumstances, in those times, these were really radical ideals, right? People did not believe in inherent equality of all human beings. For instance, in France, members of the third estate or first and second estates were considered as the social superiors of the members of the third estate. In a caste-ridden Indian society, Brahmins were regarded as superior to the lower castes. Are you with me? And there was this strong belief in the inherent inequality, not equality, inherent or fundamental inequality of human beings. So it was in that context that this notion of equality was radical. Are you with me? Likewise, liberty was a radical idea. Why? Earlier क्या लोग chained होते थे? क्या? Why was liberty a new idea? Were people earlier chained or in shackles? Okay, so earlier depended on the whims and fancies of the particular ruler in question. Or what bounded people in the pre-revolutionary era in Europe? Custom, religion, authority figures like monarchs and dynasts. Are you with me? The collectivity reigned over the individual. The notion of liberty is tied up with the notion of, or with the growth of, the idea of individualism. Are you with me? So these were back then very groundbreaking kind of new ideas. Okay? So there was a lot of political and ideological churning in France. The old French society gave way to the new French society in many ways. There was a lot of chaos and disorder which accompanied this large-scale transformation. No wonder, friends, many of the founding fathers of the discipline of sociology are French. Be it Comte, be it Saint-Simon, be it Durkheim. All of them writing about the same time period, concerned about these transformative changes, the tumult and chaos in post-revolution France. So if you're writing about the French Revolution, mention French philosophers or scholars. Okay? These are amongst the early sociologists. ठीक. Moving on to the Industrial Revolution. Scholars differ on the timeline, but this is one of the times associated or attributed to which the Industrial Revolution is this thing. ठीक है? We may not be very much aware of the French Revolution, but we all surely know about the Industrial Revolution. So batao, what was it? Where was it? Yes, it started in England. Bilkul. And what was it? Cotton textiles, yes. Just don't throw things at me to make sense of. Okay, say the whole thing. Brother? Very good, very pithily put and very aptly put. Mechanization of production. Meaning earlier things have been produced since ages. People have been wearing clothes since ages. What now was happening that the production of clothes, for instance, or textiles became mechanized. Mechanized meaning through the use of machinery in the process of production. Earlier things were being produced by hands or human effort. An industrial revolution entailed a shift away from human labor power or animal labor power in the process of production to the employment of machinery. Right? Yes, you had something to say? Absolutely, establishment of factories or industries. Huh? And this industrial revolution began in England with which sector of the economy? Textiles production, clearly, with the invention of the spinning jenny. Yeah, it was a machinery. But later on, it spread to each and every, what should I say, every segment of the English economy. So not only textiles production, but glass making, chemicals manufacturing, mining, etc., everything became mechanized, or now machines started being employed in the production of everything. ठीक? So, big deal. थोड़ी मशीन लगाने से क्या हो गया? हमेशा से ही तो इंसान कुछ ना कुछ टेक्नोलॉजिकल इंटरजेक्शन करके प्रोडक्शन को स्मूदर, फास्टर, एटसेट्रा करना चाह रहा है. What was the impact of the Industrial Revolution? Brother? Okay, let me be more specific. What was the impact of Industrial Revolution on the economy to begin with? Beti? ठीक है. All right, yes. Sorry? Absolutely. ठीक है, वी तो ऐसे कह रहे हो, इंग्लिश हो आप, बट ठीक है. ब्रदर? हाँ. Lot of laborers lost their jobs. We'll come to that. Inequality increase. Economic dimensions. Emergence of industrial capitalism. Yes. Urbanization. So friends, there were several important implications of the Industrial Revolution for the English economy. One, the quantum of production of various goods increased. क्या? Manifold. Not just increased, it increased manifold. तो पहले जहां 50 शर्ट्स बनती थी एक दिन में, अब 5000 बनने लग गई. ठीक? Production efficiency increased greatly. Yes or no? Meaning now the same amount of goods could be produced in far less time with far lesser input of, say, human labor or resources. So production efficiency went up, the quantum of production increased. What was the nature of the goods, or standardized goods started being manufactured? Yes or no? So there was a system of mass production of standardized goods. So whatever shirt, t-shirt you are wearing, is that unique and one of its kind? 1,000 such pieces would have been produced. Yes or no? What about the per unit cost of production or cost of an item? It decreased. Things became far more affordable or cheap. It also led to, development of a consumption culture. Consumption culture. Absolutely. What is consumption culture? Basically, consuming for the sake of consuming. Say you or I, we could possibly make do with 3 or 4 shirts in our wardrobe. But how many shirts do we have in our wardrobe? 30 or more? Yes or no? So why do we shop those extra shirts? We shop for the sake of shopping. Shopping is now promoted as a pleasurable activity in itself rather than as a means to an end. बोर हो रहे हैं, क्या करें? शॉपिंग चलते हैं. Yes or no? And that was necessary for a necessary corollary of the Industrial Revolution. Say you've clothed the whole of Manchester. Manchester is where it all began, in the textiles industry in Manchester in England. You've clothed everybody. Everybody's got 3 jodi kapde. If they stop buying, what will the textile mills do? Will they stop producing? No. So you tell people, no, you keep on buying more and more and more. Are you with me? So that was the development of a consumption culture. Now everybody in Manchester has bought 35 or 300 shirts. What do you do next? New markets. So there was an increase in international trade and commerce. The scramble for new markets, cheaper sources of raw materials, and labor power also led to further what? Colonization. Yes or no? Better standard of life. Okay, so did the standard of living improve or worsen with the Industrial Revolution? Sorry? Absolutely. Wonderful. Wonderful as in good articulation. Not the things of which were happening were not wonderful.
Income inequality increased.
Absolutely.
Rich became more richer.
Absolutely. So for those who had purchasing power, those with money in their pockets, things couldn't have been better. You now had access to so many amenities and goods, etc., right, which were not available to mankind ever before. But for a very large chunk of the population belonging to the working class, their living conditions were quite pathetic. The Industrial Revolution also led to large-scale urbanization. So there was large-scale migration from rural areas to urban areas. Why? क्या था urban areas में? क्यों जा रहे थे लोग? For jobs. The factories, wherever the factories were located, they emerged as city centers. They housed many people from the working class. So rural areas, the rural economy got, increasingly unviable, or rural sources of livelihood. So people started shifting to the wherever the factories were, resulting in urbanization. And in the urban areas, also appreciate that these, what happened to the family? So, it was also accompanied or resulted in family nuclearization. Why? What's the production system got to do with the nature of the family? Explain that, yeah? Why not? Why? Why would one want to go another? Why wouldn't they live together? They were living happily ever after since ages. Yes. So please appreciate, in a land-based or agriculture-based economy, in a feudal economy, a joint family system is sustained. So if I am a farmer, I have 5 sons. All those 5 sons do what? They are farmers, as sons of a farmer, and they work on the land owned by me or us collectively, right? And I am this thing. Clear? So we live in a joint setup. But now with industrialization, what happens? People are assigned jobs based on the skills they acquire. So one son of a farmer becomes a plumber. So he'll go wherever you have plumbing opportunities available. Another becomes an electrician. He goes with his skill sets to another place. The third becomes an engineer. The fourth, a civil servant. So wherever their skill sets, capabilities, etc. take them, they will go. And along with them, they will take their lugai and children. Right? It's difficult for a extended or joint family, a large-sized family to move. पूरे कुंबे का जाना कठिन है, तो मैं अपनी लुगाई के साथ I will move to the, and dependent children के साथ I will move to my workplace. Are you with me? So, Industrial Revolution also led to family nuclearization. And what were the living conditions of the working class in these industrial cities? कैसे रहते थे वो? महलों में रहते थे, स्लम्स में रहते थे, महलों में नहीं रहते थे, है ना? So there was a growth of slums in these industrial cities. Slums were typically overpopulated. Poor hygiene, poor sanitation, dilapidated. Are you with me? There was this problem of pollution. New diseases would emerge. Oftentimes, members of the working class would suffer from, loneliness, isolation, being away from their homes or families back in the village. Are you with me? Sorry? Ghettoization is used in a slightly different context. So, okay. But formation of slums. I won't be able to explain these terms in this context, but let us just say that there was a widening of class inequality. Okay? There was a widening of class inequality. The rich became super duper rich, and the working class or a section of the working class became very poor. And how were the conditions at work? All good? Air-conditioned offices and all? No? Fair? So the working conditions were also difficult, characterized by very long working hours. Very long कितने long? कितना काम बहुत काम होता है? 14 hours, 16 hours. Karl Marx has written about it. He writes about a lady who worked for so long, 20 hours a day, that she died working. इतना काम किया, काम करते करते गुजर गई. Workers were working with new kinds of machinery, so they would suffer injury also. There would be industrial accidents. Are you with me? Long work hours, low wages. Child labor also became this thing. In the initial days of the Industrial Revolution, it increased. In certain industries, children were preferred to be employed, where you need nimble fingers, etc. I remember reading this story or poem long back, the match girl or something. In matchmaking, they would employ girl children. In India, they still do in Sivakasi for cracker making and, in certain, this thing. Carpet weaving, lot of industries. So, welfare state or pro-worker legislation had not yet made appearance. Are you with me? So, the conditions of the working class were in a very vulnerable condition, subjected to all sorts of exploitations. ठीक? तो worker क्या करेगा? Revolt. Suicide. Unionize. It led to the trade union movement. So, as a tool of collective bargaining. Are you with me? So, trade unions began to be established in different segments of the economy. You had trade unions for dockyard workers, miners, shipbreakers, all sorts. And this, this propensity of the working class to collectively try to secure their interests. What would the trade unions typically demand? You know it. Higher wages, better working conditions, regulation of the work hours, and so on and so forth. And this, trade union movement culminated in the establishment of the Labour Party. Are you with me? Various trade unions, first they were established sector-wise. All of them would later come together to establish the Labour Party, which is till date one of the two main political parties in Great Britain. Okay? To articulate the interests of the working class. So political changes also, or impacts also. I said trade unionization by workers in England culminated in the establishment of the Labour Party. It led to the Industrial Revolution. May I continue or pause? Paused. See? You'll not find a more responsive robotic teacher. Switch me on when you are done. Done? It led to changes in the education system. It led to the development of a mass-based education system. And what kind of knowledge was imparted? Religious instruction? No. Scientific and skill-based education was imparted. Yes or no? It yani, talking about the Industrial Revolution, of course. Industrial Revolution also transformed the stratification system. So, earlier you had social classes like lords and serfs. Yeah? These were replaced by new social classes such as factory owners and factory workers. ठीक? Further simplifying just what you said. Huh? Serfs. Newer social classes like factory owners and factory workers. New ideologies developed, like communism. ठीक है, friends? So each and every aspect of social life stood transformed. Not just the economy, but also the education system, changes in ideology, family, patterns of living from rural to urban, in people's standards of living, so many things. Combinedly together, the French and the Industrial Revolutions had a very profound transformative impact on European society. Were the impacts of the French and Industrial Revolutions confined to France and England respectively? फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन तो फ्रांस में ही हुआ ना, तो हुआ और फ्रेंच सोसाइटी बदली और खत्म बात, और नॉट? स्प्रेड टू अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड एज वेल. कहां दिखते हैं तुम्हें ये? भारत के संविधान में, यूएस के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में. सो these ideals inspired from the French Revolution absolutely spread like wildfire to different parts of the globe. Yes or no? And are foundational, not just present, they are foundational in most modern democratic constitutions. Yes? Including ours. Industrial Revolution, did it impact only England? Of course not. From England it spread to other European countries, to North America, later on Latin America, even we and the whole globe literally has undergone industrialization in varying degrees. Yes or no? And this period was only the first Industrial Revolution. Then there was a second and a third. अब fourth की बात करते हैं शायद. Yes or no? या फिफ्थ भी बोलते हैं. फिफ्थ हो गया, फोर्थ चल रहा, हो जाएगा फिफ्थ भी. Are you with me? Combinedly together, these two revolutions had a very profound, transformative impact on European society. Traditional Europe gave way to modern Europe. These changes were near total. It was as if the old society had crumbled and a new society had arisen in its place. And to understand these transformative changes, any of the earlier old branches of knowledge seemed grossly inadequate. And hence, the need was felt for a discipline dedicated to the scientific study of society. These changes were tumultuous, chaotic, gave rise to numerous social problems, some of which we have mentioned. whether it is slums and squalor in urban areas, whether it is the glaring class divide, whether it is the problem of loneliness, isolation, and alienation of the workers. Yes or no? Rising crimes in the cities. So to understand or find solutions to some extent to these problems, the discipline of sociology was established. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. ठीक है. And I will be dictating on these, lest you are very this thing कि यार लिखा नहीं छूट गया. We will write. ठीक है. चलो. Thank you.